What's up, guys? Tech Ninja 81. So a common question that I see posted online on forums or on YouTube channels through comments and whatnot is how young is too young to ride, or when should I start riding? That's a tricky one to answer. I suppose the cop-out answer would be when you're ready. But how do you know when you're ready to ride? Well, for one thing, have you taken a motorcycle safety course? It's probably one of the most important things that you can do as a rider prior to actually getting your first bike. If the answer is no, then I would say you are not ready to ride. If the answer is yes, you're at least one step toward it. Okay, you're not gonna go. Anyways. Now, what about the age factor? Now, this is tricky. Your age is going to factor into, obviously, what you're going to pay for insurance. And, of course, generally with age comes experience. Now, here in Toronto, Ontario, or probably pretty much anywhere else in Canada, our insurance rates are honestly pretty damn high. The rule of thumb is most insurance companies will give you a discount at the age of 25. Some actually give you an additional discount at 30. And for some, if you're a senior rider, you may also get a bit of a discount at that point as well. Depends on the company. Me, I'm in my 30s. Started riding in 2010. Now for me, when I started out, I was on a 2010 Ninja 250, brand new. And the first insurance company that I was with charged me about $1,600 for the first year. For some reason, when I went to renew it the year after, they wanted almost $2,400. I said, to hell with that, there's no way I'm paying that for a 250cc. And I shopped around. I found another insurance company. They quoted me about $1,100. You have a stop sign, bud. Anyways, so obviously from that point, doing your research on insurance companies, shopping around is definitely something you should be doing. Insurance might play a big factor into whether or not you can afford to own a bike, let alone ride it. When you're looking at insurance rates, make sure that you're doing full coverage. Get good coverage, good liability. Honestly, if you can get something with $1 million or more for liability, with like I said, full coverage, including theft. There's a lot of motorcycle theft here in Toronto, and I'm sure from Chase on Two Wheels and a few other people lately who've posted videos, it really sucks to lose your bike, especially if you lose it more than once. And if you're in an area where it happens frequently, some insurance companies may not even want to cover you, depending on the bike that you own. Now back to the type of bike. If you're a smart rider, if you're a beginner, I recommend you start on something smaller. Something like a 250cc, either the Ninja or the CBR 250, or if you're more the cruiser type, something in the 250cc range there is not a bad idea. I don't recommend starting with anything above 600, especially if you're looking at things like the R6, R1, pretty much anything in that class. You might be able to handle it. I'm not saying that you won't be able to. I know plenty of people that did start out on them, but they are much less forgiving bikes. You really twist the wrist on a 250. Yeah, okay, technically those bikes will still wheelie, they can still go, but they're a lot more forgiving than if you did the same thing on a 600 plus cc. You're a lot less likely to loop the bike and wind up on your ass. Now, despite what some people will say online and what some of the what I would consider lesser reputable motorcycle shops will say, you do not need to start on anything bigger than a 250. It doesn't matter if you're 6'5". You can still ride a 250. You can still do so with relative comfort, and it's not dangerous to ride a smaller bike. Yes, if you're riding on the highway frequently, a 250 will be perfectly fine. A 125 is a bit questionable. It's actually illegal here in Ontario for anything less than 150cc apparently, which I actually only found that out recently, to be honest with you. But anything 250 and up, you're going to be fine. 250cc cruiser, yeah, you might have a little bit of trouble with the passing power, but it's still going to do it. So again, starting with a smaller bike is a better idea, especially if you're a less experienced rider. Motorcycle safety course, absolutely, I consider it a necessity. And making sure, of course, that you have all the appropriate gear. We're getting a little bit off topic here. The question really was, when should you start riding? But more or less, if you've had the time, you've taken the time to research those points and educate yourself on how much it's going to cost you, what type of a rider you're going to be, what type of bike you plan to ride, and you've made sure that you've considered your own safety as well as that of other people on the road, you're probably ready to ride. The only thing that, like I said, might really factor into whether you choose a certain bike or not is going to be the insurance. And like I said, if you're under 25 in Ontario, you're probably going to pay quite the premium. It's not unusual for new riders here, even on 250s, to be paying $3,000, $4,000, some people even $5,000, which I think is ridiculous, but you can't legally ride without insurance here, and I wouldn't recommend it anyways. I know people that have super sports that are paying closer to $10,000, and honestly I just can't understand how they justify paying that for a bike that's barely worth that on its own. So yeah, basically, do the research, do the training, do the course, get the gear, find the bike that you are comfortable with, and if you honestly believe that you are ready and you've done the course and passed, you've got your license, that's when you're ready to ride. There's not really a specific age or a specific type of bike or anything else that anybody else can or should be telling you. It's up to you to determine when you're ready. If you feel you're not ready, take that a little bit longer. If it takes you another year to get used to things, if you have to do some additional courses to prepare yourself for the road, do it. Those courses and that extra time just might be the difference between life and death if there's ever any kind of an emergency situation that you might not have otherwise been prepared for. Now guys, if you have any other questions, any comments, feedback on the video, please leave it in my comment section. Post up a YouTube video response. I'd love to hear from you guys. Like it, share it, subscribe. Tech Ninja out. Ride safe, ride smart.